Okay, the first part of installing the light onto the window is making a mark outside the glass. And this way you'll have this mark you'll use as a reference point, because inside you're also going to make a mark on your light. And you got to make sure whatever you make the mark with, that it comes off. Test it on a window somewhere, whether you wipe it with alcohol or water or grease pen, whatever you want to use. You got to make sure that you can eventually wipe it off. So what we're going to do is take a measuring, and we're going to measure the center. In this case, I have a bright stick. I can wipe with alcohol and water, I think. So in this case, I figure about 25 inches wide. So I'm going to do 12 and a half and make a mark. Okay, so now that I have my mark, make it along, maybe like an inch or something like that. And that, excuse me, that is my mark, marking the center of the glass. Later on when we come inside, we don't have to guess where we are here. Now that we made the mark on the outside of the glass, we're now inside the car, and I'll explain how to put the light on the window with suction cups and adhesive pads. It comes with your kit. You take it out of the box, and we will start off with the suction cups. All right, and we got to make sure that the window is clean, both inside and outside, but make sure it is clean. And it's extremely important to put on alcohol the area that we're going to put the suction cup or adhesive pad. So we put alcohol in this area here on both sides, wipe it clean, and there is no film at all in this area. All right, now we are putting a same kind of mark that we can wipe off. This is the center of the 12-inch, and this is the center of your window. So these two will line up like that. All right, so or you could put a thin piece of tape if you want, but something that will wipe off. All right, so I will first I put this wire behind, in this car, behind the seat, and nothing's connected, nothing's electronically or electrically connected, I should say. And okay, now we're going to apply, always start off with the suction cups. We're going to apply, push it in, hold it back the tab, and then take the other one again, kind of support it and push it in. Okay, now the suction cups are in like this. All right, and then we're going to it's extremely important to wipe the suction cups with the alcohol that's still on your napkin or paper towel. It's very extremely important to make sure this is clean, that there is no film on your suction cups on both sides. All right, then what you'll do is now you're lining up. So this is the center of the mark, and we have to decide how high we want it. Okay, in this case, I'm gonna just set it off maybe about 1/4 of an inch from the bottom or so, or maybe a little bit lower from the bottom, and that's lined up. And now we're going to push, and you'll hear a pop on both sides. That means you pushed all the air out, and now you have the light mounted with the suction cups. The mark is there, so you know it's in center. All right, one more thing if you want to do is now is a good time to wire it, whether you're going to use the suction cups permanently or whether you're going to use the adhesive pads, which I'll show you later. This is a good time to wire it to the car, and you look at the wiring diagram, and we will show you a video of how we wire the light. Okay, now that you've wired it, you like it where it is, up, down, sideways, it looks good. If you want it now, leave the suction cup in there, that's fine. You wipe off your marks, and you could use in the kit comes in these cover pads, which will go on either side of the hole to cover the holes. That's what they are, and those are not as aggressive. I could take them off and put them back on. They're not as aggressive, but what they do is they hide the hole so the whole bar looks neat. I will put this aside for now, and if we decide to use the adhesive pads, which I'll pull out of the kit, these are the adhesive pads, and I will show you now how to do it with the adhesive pads. So now we have a pretty good idea where we want the light to be. I'm going to pull off the suction cups like this, one on each end like this, and then I take my alcohol, and which is extremely important, to wipe each end with the alcohol. Make sure there's no film on there and no fingerprints. Then we will take the adhesive pads, take each one, mount it on each side like this. Okay, that's on one side. Then the next one is on this side. We mount it on each side, and you can push down if you want. Push down hard, that's fine. To get the release liners off, the red release liners, they have to come off. The best way to do it is with the edge of a razor blade. Find the edge. It's hard to get this off. Once you pull it up, you take the release liners off. Again, with the edge of a razor blade, it's a lot easier. You find that edge and remove the release liners. Now, do not touch your adhesive pads. They are there. Okay, so your adhesive pads are here. Your center is here. And what I suggest is that you can slowly put it down wherever you want. Just keep an eye on the center, and also look on the bottom edge between the frame where you want it and the bottom of the light. Now you can lightly touch it. I deliberately gonna make it on an angle. I just lightly touched it. I still have time. I could pick this up. All right, and move it down just because I want it parallel with the lamp on the bottom. And if I have to move this side, I just lightly, this is extremely important, that you can lightly just touch it. All right, so the next thing is, then this is where you want it. This is it. You push it down. Now I will hold it for 10 seconds, and you now have a bond with the glass using the adhesive pads. When you look outside, you will see this round circle is not touching the glass because you didn't push, you didn't put any pressure. You can take a tool or a pencil and dab it in like this, and or something a little bit bigger in diameter, maybe a piece of wood this diameter. And what you're going to do is you're going to push it in, because on the outside you'll make that tape all look even on the outside, and this will push up against the glass, and then when you look outside, it'll be all even, no centers. You won't see this dead circle, I would call it. And that's all you have to do now. Next thing is for decorative, so it looks good, we have these adhesive covers, we call them. You can put them up again. This is not as aggressive as the pads, as the dots. So that's the one on that side. Okay, and then one on this side here. Same thing, you just put them on. You could take them off, put them on, take them off. It really doesn't make any difference. Now we'll back up a little bit. Now that's how your light will look on the window, and that's how you put it on the window. And make sure there's nothing pulling down. Give it some slack. Make sure there's nothing pushing and pulling this down. It will help the adhesive, what they should be. You'll have no problem once the adhesive is down. Actually, what happens, the adhesive cures for about another 3 days. It's still curing and still bonding to the glass.